Good morning, lacrosse community. Hope everyone's doing well today. My name's Ryan Berns. I'm the president of the Lacrosse Leadership Institute. It's our mission to empower youth and everyone that loves lacrosse to be successful, live the lives that they want to live, and utilize the skills that you gain from lacrosse to make sure that you're living that life. I am so excited for our guest today. Jarrod Neumann's a defensive MVP for the Premier Lacrosse League for 2019. All around great role model and an exceptional guy. Jarrod, can you please start by sharing your story with our group of how you got into lacrosse and what lacrosse means to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up playing basketball, football, and baseball. I played football from second grade. I was bigger than so many kids. My mom lied and said I was a third grader when really I was in first. I played baseball and t-ball my whole life, and basketball was, my love and joy. So I grew up playing those three sports predominantly. And, when high school came, freshman, sophomore year of high school, I decided to sort of let go of the other two and focus on strictly basketball. And that's what I did. And then at the end of my sophomore year, I actually tore my ACL and MCL. And it sort of derailed my basketball dreams. I was getting scouted from a lot of Division I schools. I had a lot of looks and offers. And, so it took a while to get back. And that sort of brought about the prep school route to do a postgraduate year, which gives you sort of an extra year in high school to sort of, get back that season is what I was really trying to look to do. And come down to my senior year, I'm sort of deciding between prep schools. And I have nothing to do my senior spring. And a lacrosse legend, Matt Strebel, was just hired as our head coach at my public high school. And I've had friends who have played lacrosse their whole life. I've had, in my area, lacrosse was played. It was a, fun sport that everyone always loved. And I had never seen a game or touched a stick. Just didn't cross my path until my senior year of high school. And my buddies were like, you got nothing else to do senior spring. You leave for prep school in 3 months. Why would you not pick up a stick? And with some convincing from them and Matt, I ended up, going out and trying out for the team and making the team and playing a sport that was completely new to me. I had no skills. Took a long time to develop, but it was awesome. It was fun. It was refreshing. It was new. And most of all, I think it was a challenge. I like challenges. I like to rise to the occasion. And Matt, took me under his wing, gave me guidance, gave me pointers, gave me gear so I could really get started because I couldn't afford it. And it was sort of the mentor I guess everyone would want or look for in Matt. Super generous guy, great guy, 12 plus seasons in the MLL, one of the all-time greats, 4-team USAs. So learning from him was a great experience. And he sort of redirected my focus in prep school to be like, hey, if you go spend a year playing prep school, I really think that you could make something serious out of this. So, I took a leap of faith. I went to a prep school where I could play basketball and lacrosse. I ended up going to Bridgeton Academy. So that was my 2 months into my lacrosse career. I had sort of decided to go play at Bridgeton too. So Bridgeton came and I had my basketball season, fall season. I went to a bunch of those recruiting clinics and showcases and everything you can do. I was extremely late to the recruiting cycle. Obviously, this is when, freshmen in high school were committing to Johns Hopkins. And there was no rules yet around when you commit. 8th graders were getting offer letters. So I was very late being a postgraduate student. And essentially what happened was, I went to all those prospect days and I found a coach in Chris Gabrielli who loved me and was willing to take a chance. And he did take a chance and I appreciated him for that. A lot of guys wouldn't draft a kid or hold a spot in a team for someone who couldn't catch or throw. So I really put in the work. I learned the skills. I put in the time before practice, after practice, midday, after class, whenever I could find time, I was working. And it worked out for the both of us, I would say. I had a great career at Providence. I was a 2-time All-American. I was Big East Defensive Player of the Year. That led to me getting drafted in the MLL. I played a few great seasons in the MLL, and PLL came around, and I think it was sort of the shot everyone was hoping for, and I think I made the most of it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing, Jared. Just the story of perseverance and overcoming some adversity just early on, not even having lacrosse in your life until you're 18, and then going from there and seizing an opportunity. I think that's what it
Yeah.
sounds like. You keep on doing. You find an opportunity, you make the most of it, and that's how we make the most out of life. What would you say is the pinnacle moment that you've had in lacrosse, or a few of your pinnacle moments or favorite moments?
Um, coming up, a few of my favorite moments of all time. New to the sport in college still, only a year into playing. I realized sort of at college, you have to put in even more work to get on the field with the guys being so talented in the Big East. And I know, my freshman year, a Big East team won the national championship in Denver. So, you're literally facing national champion competition. So, that was sort of a wake up call to me. So I really put in that work that freshman year after I saw a Big East team won the national championship. And, sophomore year, I started to get some recognition. I think I was first team all New England. And that was sort of when it was like, you need to get going. You can do more. And I had the coaches to push me, and they pushed me in the right ways. They supported me, but they pushed me hard, and they expected a lot from me. But my pinnacle moments were, at Providence, I was a 3-time captain. I took a lot of pride in that. It's really hard to be a captain as a sophomore. Older guys don't always want to listen to you, but if you show the right leadership skills and you do things the right way, there's no reason you can't be a captain. So that was definitely a pinnacle moment. Winning Big East Defense Player of the Year was huge. That was big for me. I was up for, some big awards, and the fact to win that after sort of culminating 4 years of just putting in work was awesome. And then, obviously in the PLL, I had my first 2 years in Florida where I played under Tucker Durkin. So I was a little undershadowed in the MLL. PLL sort of gave me this fresh start. I was playing with Brody Merrill, who is an all-time great, no doubt about it, one of the best to ever do it. But Brody was sort of more of a mentor. His experience was unmatched. He gave us advice that you could only hope for. So I sort of took the reins and said, I got to be the guy. And I did. It was awesome. I won Defense Player of the Year and the fastest shot. And those are sort of my 3 or 4 big pinnacle moments where I think, all your hard work and success finally comes to a point where it's like, you did it, you take a deep breath now, and then you can sort of just enjoy the moment.
Oh, I love being able to enjoy the moment. And as a defenseman, I love the fact that you hold the fastest shot as well. And I know all the guys in Arizona were cheering you on for that. When it comes down to leadership, you mentioned one of your pinnacles is being a 3-time captain at Providence, which is amazing, like you said, especially having folks that are older. Oftentimes when we're taking on those leadership positions, we can have the story in our mind that we're too young, we're too inexperienced to take that on. Sounds like you crushed it at that point. What does leadership mean to you, Jared?
Yeah, so leadership's an interesting thing to me because as you get older and I've been in a leadership position for so long. I was a captain this year for the Chaos too. You sort of have to learn different perspectives, and I think I learned that in Providence from when I started as a young guy, interacting with upperclassmen, sort of telling them what to do, but using the right tone and the right way to do it. There's a way to go about everything. But the biggest thing I've learned is that, right, there's no script on how to be a leader. So for me, I'm the vocal leader, right? I'm a presence on the field. I'm a big personality. If you look at me, some people would try to say, oh, that's like your stereotypical leader. But, I've had captains that are with me. I've been co-captain, I've been et cetera. And you learn that people lead in different ways. So you don't have to be some certain leader. I'm the big presence. I have the voice. I sort of direct guys where to go, what to do, how to do it. I'm also the bad guy at times where I got to hand out punishments. I got to, suspend guys, or I got to, tell guys they're messing up. And that's not the easy job, but that comes with the way that I lead, is that you have to accept those responsibilities. But at the same time, you have to value your other leaders. So when I was a captain of Providence, my junior year, I was one of 3. So yes, the other captains would come to me and talk to me because I was sort of the voice and the presence. But we had a guy who was lead by example. And his way of leadership is no different than mine. It doesn't make mine any better than his. He was lead by example. He did every single thing the right way. He was never late to class. He never missed class. He got good grades. He was always showed up early. He always left late. He did drills right. He was coachable, right? He didn't sit there and yell at guys and scream or have like hard conversations or have to suspend guys or etc. But he did things the right way, and he's a different type of leader where as guys run the field, they could just look and be like, okay, if this is how he's doing it, that's how it's done, because he always did things the right way. So there's no sort of value to one leadership style than the other. And then, I mean, there's guys who do things the right way. There's the big presences like me. And then I've dealt with people who are just sort of behind the scenes, right? I've had captains I've been on teams with that don't say a word. They don't really talk a whole lot in meetings, but like they're the glue that sort of pulls the team together. They make sure guys are on time on meetings. They're helping guys with homework. They're, making sure that people are doing things the right way. Like, hey, I see you're doing this wrong. Do you mind if I help you? So there's guys who, might not have a voice or a presence, but are also then that other type of leader that just are the glue. They bring it all together. They make sure everyone's on the same page. And, there's no direct leadership style, but they're all very impactful.
And that's so true, because so many of us have different perspectives on life. We're not going to see the same thing the same way. And in that respect, you need to be able to acclimate and be able to talk and communicate the effective way. So having that spread of different leadership styles really allows a team to have the culture to move forward and be successful. When you think about your leadership style and what you've learned on the lacrosse field, how has lacrosse actually impacted your life today?
I mean, lacrosse has been the single biggest impact of my life, other than sort of my mother and my upbringing, I'd say that I've had. Like lacrosse has allowed me to travel the world. I've gone all over the country. I've played in so many different cities and venues and seen so many different places I never thought I would see. I've built relationships and friendships with not only kids in my own team, but kids on other teams, kids I've worked camps with, kids I've been playing against, kids that have been on my pro teams. I've built all these relationships with not only them, but then parents, because I've been coach, and youth players who I also coach. You just build all these different bonds and relationships. And the lacrosse community is big, but at the same time, very small. Everyone knows each other. And, if you do things the right way, you can really count your blessings, because I've been blessed enough to travel across the world, meet great people, had things, had entire experience sort of, just given to me because of the way I conduct myself and the way that I present myself. And lacrosse is like the single biggest thing that's allowed me to do that.
I can hear it in your voice, and from your experiences, that resume speaks for itself and having such a big impact. Sounds like you've also set goals for yourself and you've executed on those. And that's what's allowed you to live such a wonderful life. What are some of the goals that you're setting for yourself right now?
Right now, I mean, I'm looking forward to next season. The bubble, I would say I probably didn't play my best. Game one was tough for me. I know that. But I also bounced back well, I thought. I played the next 4 games spectacular. I think I only let in 2 goals in the last 4 games. But for someone like me who pushes himself so much, that's sort of unacceptable to let my teammates down like that a little bit. So that sort of irks at me, because I see how much my teammates give and how much I give to them, and to sort of, in my mind, let them down. They would never say I let them down, but in my mind, to feel like I let them down in a game, even if it's only 1 game, that's unacceptable to me. So I'm just sort of, I've taken some time off just to sort of think about things and get in a right mental state, because, with COVID and how it is, there's a lot of isolation. You're alone a lot. I can't go out and get one-on-one reps with guys. Parks are closed, gyms are closed. It's tough. It really is. It's not easy. I'm not making excuses, but it's also not easy. So you have to get creative. So sort of after the bubble of playing such a high level, condensed amount of lacrosse in one time, I think it was important for me to sort of, step away for a little. I've been playing a lot of golf, visiting a lot of friends, just sort of getting back into just like myself again. And then that's good. So, I haven't really set a ton of goals going forward. I've just sort of been taking this time to enjoy the moment. But I mean, one of the goals will obviously be to come back and hopefully have a full season next year. I hope for, normal schedule, regular season, and just sort of really dominate. And obviously I would love the chaos, to get there because, we let one slip away. Credit to the Whipsnakes. They played fantastic in that fourth quarter. It was truly, going back and watching it, it was an amazing effort by them. But, getting there and not getting it done hurts. So, I mean, the only thing that's been on my mind for the last, month and a half or so has been, that fourth quarter. So that would be my goal, to sort of get it done next time.
Well, I love to hear that you're using this as motivation to move forward as well, because I think one of the things that you said was the ability to bounce back. We're going to face adversity. You get hurt as a top prospect for basketball. You bounce back. You make it to be a Division I lacrosse player. Not only that, you become the best player in the world, essentially, on the defensive side by being 2019 Defensive Player of the Year. I know that with this intensity, only great things are going to come, Jarrod, through your story. How are you going to be able to bring your focus and dedication to the team, especially in this remote environment? And more importantly, we're pretty connected with college teams right now. Oftentimes, they're not able to play with one another. Even youth teams can't play with one another. How can the youth get better? And it's not just youth, it's anyone who's playing lacrosse. How can you get better right now?
I mean, right. I think when normal conditions are going on, right, we're, as athletes, I think we're wired to go play, get rep, play. That's just the way we want to be out there. That's why we play the game. We love playing it. And I think a very underutilized skill set is the ability to watch film. Normally we're all go, but with this extra, I guess you say isolation or time in small groups, it's very beneficial to watch film. And you could go and just watch a game and be like, oh, this is a fun game to watch, but you got to actually look at stuff. When goals are scored, look at the defense. What did they do wrong? When goals are not scored, look at the offense. Why didn't they beat the defense? What did the defense do successfully? There's a lot of things you can look at, wing play, everything. You can break it down so you can find something in every game to sort of help your position. If you have a coach available to you, I coach in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Again, I can't do camps or clinics right now just based off restrictions of fields, but I do one-on-one private lessons all the time. I do them, 2-3 times a week. It's something to get out and do, and it'd be a little more tailored to you. But film and any sort of taking what you've seen in film and going to try to produce it on the field will be beneficial, because you've seen a skill either done at the highest level or you've seen a skill done wrong at the highest level. And now how can you do that and replicate it or not make that mistake that you just saw? And with, small group coaching, it's a little harder because you don't have that competitor against you. But any good coach in your area should be able to direct you on proper fundamentals and techniques.
I think that's so important. The lacrosse IQ fact is something that everyone can always get better at. And right now, when we can't get together, film is such a great way to do that.
Yeah.
Thinking about your story, not getting into lacrosse until senior year, essentially, what advice can you give to any youth right now? I know we already spoke about film, but what would you say is the most important thing for guys to focus on or gals to focus on so that they can play at the next level?
Yeah, I see it a lot when I do lessons or when I coach events or clinics or camps, right? There was a coach, my college coach, Chris Gabrielli, always had a phrase. He said, "Be where your feet are." And, kids don't think really understand that. But, if you're at a game and you're playing in that game, or you're on the sideline and you're not playing, or you're the water boy, or you're something, you need to be where your feet are, which means you need to be focused on what's going on. I see too many drifting eyes about who's in the stands, or who's, mom and dad came to watch, or, what the other team is doing. You need to be focused on what you can do the best, and that's it. If you're not playing, You need to be the best teammate that you can be for the players who are on the field. If you are playing, you need to be the best version of yourself while on the field. So it was a lot of back and forth, but you just got to sort of be where your feet are, and you need to just really execute. Like, who cares what's in the stands? Block out the noise, right? When I first started, I was horrible. I had no stick skills. I could guard anyone in the country, but I couldn't catch or throw. You don't think I got, teased, made fun of, chirped, whatever you want to call it. That can't affect you. It's just next play. You drop the ball. Guess what? The ball is probably being dropped 3 seconds later. You got to go make that play now. So those are my 2 pieces of advice. Block out the noise and be where your feet are.
That's a big part of being present, seizing every opportunity, no matter what's going on around you. We have that singular focus. Jarrod, I know we're coming at the top of our time, so thank you so much for this conversation. Is there anything that we can do as a community to support you right now?
I mean, yeah. So I was prior to COVID, I was looking to run a bunch of camps and clinics, defensive clinics, offensive and defensive clinics, so we could get some live reps throughout the country. I had one in Miami, one in Pittsburgh, one in Massachusetts, and I was hopefully going to do one in Michigan. All got canceled because of COVID. I'm going to look to do that again, sort of hopefully as these restrictions lift and we get more freedom and we can go into group play and stuff like that. So anything you guys can do, if I come to the Arizona area, please join, help out. I would love to run a camp out in Arizona. If anyone has any connections out there, reach out to me via DM on Instagram or Twitter or anything, and let's set it up, because I would love to get back to it once we're allowed to.
Awesome, Jarrod. Well, we'll definitely make sure to add in the YouTube link. We'll add your Instagram. We'll add anything else that you want in there so people can click it. Everyone reach out to Jarrod. Such a great example for everyone around here. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Take care, Jarrod.